Hey, everybody. I'm Gary Palmer Jr. You're you. Together, we are minting coins. So we are here today in this fine Metaverse Monday, hanging out, talking about the Metaverse, checking out the news, usually talking about what's going on in the world of crypto voxels, Decentraland, Yuga Labs, all things the Metaverse, because it's interesting. It's the future. It's the internet with a spatial component. And super excited about how that fits into Web3, how that fits into decentralized technology, how that fits in with sovereign technology, sovereign ownership, sovereign citizenship, where, we talked about this before, where people can own their money, they can own their identity, they can own their art and their NFTs, and what else? And then they can own the space too that they occupy. So they can, have some space where they put up their art. They can have some space where they have their meetings. They can have some space where they put up information. And I think like a really interesting way to think about Web3 in terms of the metaverse, or the metaverse in terms of Web3, is to think about it like a website, is to think about it like a decentralized website, where instead of having like a Web2 website where people can go to your website, they can click from page to page and they can just simply read up and down that web page. In the metaverse, it's a three-dimensional website. It's a 3D website. You actually have up, down, left, right, back and forth. And this is a new idea for a lot of people. Now, the younger you are, the more it's going to make sense. The younger you are, the more experience you have with video games, the more experience you have with, just either video games where it's just you playing, but you're still moving around, even if it's, like something like Super Mario Brothers, or, Smash Brothers, or if it's like a online multi-action role-playing game. You have that experience of being an avatar, of walking around, right, inside a video game, of interacting with other people, right, interacting with NPCs, interacting with, maybe games inside the game, interacting with, maybe like you're controlling a television, or you're controlling like a radio, or maybe you're getting inside a vehicle, right? You have that experience of having an avatar and interacting in that world, being immersed in that world. And, so when you go to a website in Web2 and it's like reading a book, right? It's like a digital book. Instead of flipping the pages, you're clicking on the links. And the metaverse, these 3D websites, you're going to go, it's going to be like a physical library. You're going to walk into a building and you're going to want to go to the history section of that building. And so instead of clicking on the history section of the website, you're going to physically walk, or perhaps you're going to teleport to the history section of the library. And then once you're in the history section of the library, then you're going to be able to, go to the history books. I got someone in the green room. Looks like it's SEO expert. Just hit me up in the comments. Let me know who you are. Put on your camera or something, just so I can know you're not, a troll. You never know, because I have the link out there for anybody to click on. Yeah, so you're going to go to the history section. You're going to then maybe pull out a book, or, that could be like a page, or you can watch a video, or you can just participate with that section of the website, that section of the metaverse, which has been built and dedicated to that section of content. Okay. Let's see here. David. Hey, David.
I didn't realize I could talk.
I've never. You can now.
I thought this was like a Twitch stream type deal.
The other link. You could be a viewer on YouTube, or you can So feel free to hang out, or feel free to jump down just going over the metaverse, talking about the metaverse, stuff like that. I don't know if you were catching anything I was just talking about the metaverse essentially being a 3D spatial website, right? Like a website, instead of being two-dimensional book, it's like a three-dimensional physical building that you can walk around. And, you know, if it's like a library, you can walk into the building and go to the library section, walk there, teleport there. And then that section is built specifically for that topic for people to all come together and, you know, to participate and do all that good stuff. So cool. So with that, let's see here. Yeah, so you're at Minting Coins. This is a Minting Coins video. I'm Gary Palmer Jr. .eth. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Really appreciate that. Really helps the video. Really supports us. Something as simple as liking this video goes a long way. It's good stuff. It's good dopamine. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Get notified of our videos. Really appreciate that. Check us out at mintingcoins.com. Support us there. Check us out at web3domains.com. Support us there as well. Really appreciate you and all your support. Watching the videos, liking the videos, sharing the videos. It's good stuff. Let's see here. Wrong screen that I wanted to share. I'm just getting to my screen share. Yes. Excellent. So, yeah, so this is mintingcoins.com. Feel free to check us out at mintingcoins.com. Oops. And yeah, so for one of the main topics that I wanted to talk about today, some information that kind of just came out. We have, how do you say this? Daniel Allegre, former president at Activision's Blizzard. And he is now being brought on as the CEO of Yuga Labs. And so this is his tweet, you know, giving that announcement that, you know, that he's joining the powerhouse, driving innovation and storytelling in Web3. He's extremely excited about what's happening. Just some high-level points of this story. Activision Blizzard's president becomes the Yuga Labs CEO. And he just announced this. This is going to be happening in the first half of 2023. So happens in the beginning of the year. And the former Blizzard executive is going to be working with very closely with the founders, very closely with the teams to expand Yuga Labs and their properties' presence in the Web3 world and beyond. So this is really exciting. Allegre brings a lot of experience to Yuga Labs, having seen, you know, international delivery of franchises like the Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Candy Crush. And with that, you know, taking that experience with running those businesses, that experience with those people, experience with the processes involved, experience, you know, understanding that infrastructure. He's going to have a very clear understanding of which parts of the infrastructure that Yuga Labs has, and then which parts of that infrastructure that Yuga Labs, you know, is going to be missing based on what they're seeing, you know, from their experience, his experience, right, running Blizzard at Activision. So it's pretty ambitious. It's, you know, it's definitely a big name. having some big names brings other big names. You know, Yuga Labs, you know, has done a lot of cool things. They you know, became really successful, and then they went on to acquire different NFT collections. Like they acquired the CryptoPunks, they acquired Meebits. They already have, you know, the apes themselves, the mutant apes, the Bored Ape Kennel Club, Otherside platform, Otherside NFTs, Otherside Deeds, which then also include the Otherside Codas. The 100,000 lands include the 10,000 Codas. And it's a lot of property to manage. It's a lot of blue chips that are involved in this venture. And it's a lot of heavy hitters, you know, that are all coming together. These gaming companies, these VCs, developing, publishing, wide spectrum of blockchain, traditional games, you know, to be able to create these stories, these narratives, these metaverses, you know, encompassing, you know, everything that's going to be required to build this next generation gaming metaverse platform, right? Because they don't just want to win, they want to win big. And this is really, really exciting. You know, the A16Z, you know, down here, huge investor. Yuga raised $450 million. Or no, they raised $450 million in funding, led by A16Z, placing them at that $4 billion valuation. That's a really, really healthy valuation. That, right, puts them at a unicorn. They're like a Web3 unicorn for sure. And it's, you know, Web3 empire. What's happening? Like we already talked about this, absorbing some of the biggest names. And oh, cool. Apparently, he chose Mutant Ape 3850 as his Web3 avatar. Let's take a look. Pretty hot. That means this is his wallet. We could check out his wallet for a sec. And what do we got? I got some M1 yellow background. We got the M1 eye patch. Got the M1 robot skin fur. Got the cowboy hat and unshaved. Yeah, so robot, cowboy hat, eye patch. Looking really good. Fresh, clean wallet. Holding his mutant ape. Very cool. Yes, so the transfer of power that Allegre is making is just perfect, right? That people are seeing based on his former job and what we're talking about with his understanding of the people that are needed, his understanding of the processes involved, his understanding of the infrastructure. And yeah, people are just really, really excited about what this means, right? What this means for not just Yuga Labs, but really more specifically, what does this mean for the other side? What does this mean for the Otherside Metaverse, the Otherside Deeds, the different aspects of the Otherside game? Because it, you know, the Otherside game, for people that don't know, it's not just something that we're talking about. It's something that we're playing with. It's something that we're experiencing. It's something that, you know, we see the active development in. And we have a video here from the tech demo from the first trip of the tech demo. What does this say? The company also announced that Otherside Deed owners and select third-party developers will be able to participate in the game's first phase. Yeah, so we'll take a look at that too. But first, let's take a look at this demo.
Okay. Whoa, it's raining nerds.
Yeah, so this is all the other side.
All right, now go ahead and yeah, Voyagers, make your way down the hill.
So everybody was just in the loading dock over here. This was like the loading dock, and they go from the loading dock and then they jump into the Otherside portal. Pretty much the exact same thing as we see in Decentraland. And then they get booted into the Otherside game, and then it was this whole experience. But just to take a look.
Yeah, Voyagers.
These
make
are
your way
all
down the
real
hill.
people. These are
In
all
the
actual
sphere.
people.
Look for the rainbow beacon in the sky. And welcome to the swamp.
You travel between islands, use the jump.
Yeah, so that was that whole short video. Let's see, nothing else good in there. Other side light paper. Let's see. Eleven part, Voyager, principles. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't really say exactly who's going to be coming in phase 1, who are the exact folks that are part of phase 1. But yeah, so that was like just like a rough, quick video of that phase 1. There was also the phase 2, or part of the phase 1 or part of the phase 2. To get inside the phase 1 and the phase 2, I recall it, you could have gotten in if you had a Bored Ape, you could have gotten in if you had a mutant, Amoeba, World of Women, and Other Side deed. If you had an Other Side deed, that would have worked as well. There are a lot of ways to get in there. Here's another screenshot from that whole shindig, a scene from that first trip. This came from Yuga Labs. This is what all the avatars looked like. It was full voice inside the Other Side Metaverse. It was interaction. People were cycling through emotes and using their voice and using the chat and running around and just testing the different limits of the games for the developers, doing that stress test and having 5,000 people all doing the same thing at the same time was really, really cool. And it was really cool to see the level of development that was already achievable, let alone what we're going to see now from David Allegre, from the strategic development, from the interoperability that is going to be happening across the organization, and specifically within inside the Other Side Metaverse. But also how are the Bored Apes going to be interacting inside that metaverse, that interoperable metaverse? How are all of the different NFT projects, especially the blue chip NFT projects, how are they going to be interacting with the Other Side Metaverse? What are the limits going to be in terms of the Other Side Metaverse interoperability? That's going to be really, really interesting. How is the e-commerce features going to play out? Are people going to be able to go to storefronts? Are they going to be able to spend money? Are they going to be able to buy real items, or are they going to be able to only buy in-game items? It's going to be a lot to figure out, a lot to see, a lot in terms of the expectations that people have. But I think they have a lot of expectations for themselves. So according to this article, what they're expecting next is just more headhunting, more talent, being pulled into the future. Having someone like Allegre is only going to increase the company's gravitational pull. This is showing how Web3 and Web2 players, are committed to getting in a game, getting the gaming universe right. And the beta version of the Other Side is scheduled to launch sometime in 2023. He couldn't have been onboarded at a better time. Having exposure to the Bored Apes, having exposure to the ape token, and just having such a high level of influence on the direction of where this is going. It's going to be, I think, unexpected, some of the turns that we're going to see. Yeah. That's that big news. Anything else you guys want to know about in terms of the Other Side or the metaverse? Or anything that's happening with that? I wonder what the floor is. Yeah, so I guess just for historical purpose, have this in the video. Yeah, the other side deeds, the other deeds for other side. We have 100,000 of these things created way back in April 2022. That creator fee of 5% on the Ethereum blockchain category virtual worlds. 362,000 total Ethereum volume traded. Only a matter of time, right? Before that hits 500,000. Ethereum volume traded 1.395, 1.4 floor. Pretty good floor. Still over Ethereum, but you know, a lot of people complaining, a lot of people not happy with that floor. A lot of people would like to see that floor pump. There are a lot of NFTs, you know, it's 100,000 of them, but the fact that there's 100,000 of them and it's still over 1 Ethereum each, I think that's pretty significant. Yeah, and so you got the difference between the best offer and the floor price, 1.28, 1.35, 3% listed. It's really a low percentage of listed NFTs, 33,000 owners, so it's like 34% uniqueness. Seems to be pretty healthy. You know, the average person has 3 of these things. I mean, I've seen worse numbers than that. And then you could also check out the distribution of that as well, you know, but there's definitely some people that have a lot more than other people. Yeah. There's always like some variability too. The lowest common denominating stuff. Anyway. Yeah, so that's that news of the day that I just want to go over with the Metaverse Monday, going over the other side, letting people know about the other side. And that is a definitely important, definitely viable metaverse that people want to be aware of. There's going to be big things happening with the Bored Ape universe. And the Bored Ape universe is definitely going to be including the other side metaverse. And the other side metaverse is going to be a physical, spatial, 3D website where people can go to different sections of that world. They can go to different buildings in that world. They can go to different sections inside the buildings, each of the buildings, right? And then each of the sections are going to be able to break down further into having books or content. You know, it's really going to be limitless possibility of what's going to be available. You know, they want to make this significant. They want to increase the usership. They want to increase the network effect. They want to increase the creativity in terms of the design, the art, the development of the code, the benefits, the capabilities that users are going to be able to experience, you know, the economy, right? The economies that are going to be able to take place in terms of people buying and selling and trading. It's, you know, it's going to be interesting to say the least. And if they're even mildly successful in terms of getting it right, getting people's attention, getting people to spend time and attention and, you know, money, but more importantly, time and attention inside those metaverses, then yeah, that's going to have a huge effect on, you know, the future economy of the world, where, you know, where people are spending their time and their money. It's going to make them an economic influence in Web3, just like Twitter and Facebook are economic influences in Web2, right? People spend a lot of time on Twitter, they spend a lot of time on Facebook, and those platforms where people are spending a lot of their time, those platforms become really popular because that's where you have people's attention. And so other businesses around the world, you know, when you're a business, you want to get the attention of your customers. And if your customers are on Facebook, then you want to put your business on Facebook so you can be where the same place as your customers' attention, kind of like fishing, right? And you want them to get to notice you and go from wherever they are, which is, you know, Facebook or Twitter, and you want them to click over to your profile page or to your website, because you want to get them to know who you are, to like who you are, to trust you as a business. And so if the other side metaverse does, you know, even remotely as well as, you know, like Blizzard has done, you know, at Activision, and consumers, people start spending their time there, and then more and more people start spending their time there, then the businesses are going to follow, right? Just as it goes, you know, the businesses are going to want to create a website there. They're going to want to create a building there. They're going to want to get people to go from whatever building they're at in the metaverse to that business's property. And then they want to get people from that property into, they're still going to want to know your email address and go to their website and purchase their product or their service. But, in terms of them being successful, if people's time and attention is shifting from, wherever they are in Web 2 to Web 3, then businesses are then going to want to be in those places in Web 3. They're hesitant in first, right? Just like in Web 2, businesses were hesitant at first to use PayPal. They were hesitant at first to even have websites. They were hesitant at first to, use Facebook or Twitter, let alone start advertising on Facebook or Twitter. And it just becomes more and more and more such that, eventually everyone knows, your business has to, be on social media, or your business has to do advertising. It seems natural today, but there's a long period of time when, the vast majority of businesses were not advertising on the internet at all. And people were just seeing slowly year after year, there was just more and more, folks advertising on the internet. And the ones that did it early took advantage of the attention arbitrage, which then correlated with a price arbitrage. And so the early adopters got better prices. They got more attention because they were there first. That was really beneficial. But yeah, eventually there's more and more people moving over on the consumer side, more and more businesses moving over on the business side. And then it just hits a tipping point in the network effect when everyone, knows that that's what they need to do and that's what they need to be. That's where they need to be in order to continue doing whatever it is that they're doing, right? You just need to, shift as the trends shift. Like, businesses need a shift, because that's just the cat and mouse game of the culture and the society. And there's a lot of risk with being first, but I suppose there's a lot of reward as well. There's a lot of risk with being wrong, trying new things. I think it's good to have, it's like the 80-20 rule. It's like the 80% of what you're good at, and then focusing on that 80% of not just what you're good at, but what's working. That's 80%. And then you really have to have that 20% for testing possibilities, for testing new things, for trying out new ideas, because you can't be dependent on the way things always have been. You need to continuously test the edges of, the simulation, if you will, and incorporate what you learn from the edges into keeping your personal life, your professional life, your business successful by staying just one step ahead of the curve. And, it's wasn't super advantageous to get highly invested into 8-tracks, but having that experience in 8-tracks would have made you stronger in dealing with tape cassettes. It would have made you stronger in, understanding, tape cassettes and CDs and Blu-rays, and then digital technology versus analog technology. And it all does add on to the experience. But you see some things we take with us much longer than, some technologies, some processes we take much longer with us. And some, some processes and some technology we shed a lot sooner than later. And that's why we have that, 80-20 mentality. That's why we're always learning about the edges and pushing the boundaries of this knowledge and just keep on testing. It's, the metaverse is something that's being worked on for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years plus. And I think what's different now is that, we have blockchain technology, which gives us these protocols for trustless, integration, for removing middlemen. And we're advanced enough in our industry that enough professional people are seriously looking at this industry, seriously looking at this technology, seriously researching the edges and capabilities, just like I'm suggesting with you. They're researching those edges and capabilities of what are possible. And they're coming to the conclusion that there's something here. There's a future of something here. There's enough to take serious. There's enough to look at and build upon. And there's enough consumer demand where people's time and attention are shifting in this direction, where you want to start building, you know, the roads and the sewer systems and the water systems and you know, like everything that's needed for, you know, then the businesses to come in, for the businesses to have a fluid experience of being able to do what the businesses need to do, which is, you know, similar to say that just as the consumers are going to have a fluid experience doing what the consumers want to do. Again, there's going to be these Web3 economies built into the metaverse, just like we have these, you know, Web2 economies built into the internet. You know, you go to do a Google search and there's ads. You go to someone's website and there's ads, or there's sponsorships, or there's gated websites, gated content. You know, there's this Web2 economy happening in Web2. There's going to be a Web3 economy happening in Web3. And it's an important conversation to say, what is this economy? How does this economy work? Where is the data? Who owns the data, right? Are you going to be the product with targeted advertising, sponsored advertising, with people harvesting your data and then using that data to turn you into a product? Or is it the economy going to be set up in other ways where that data is working for you instead of against you, where you're using the product and you're not becoming the product? A system where you have more sovereignty and freedom and control over the direct and indirect information, versus there being a lack of transparency and a lack of understanding of what's actually happening, you know, in the background of these interconnected 3D websites, of these interoperable metaverses. And you know, the full extent of which we haven't seen, the full extent of which I don't think, you know, even people that know kind of what to expect, I don't think the full extent of which we're really like fully grasping yet, right? If this stuff is truly interoperable and decentralized and you know, reduces the middlemen while increasing the trust, it's going to be a wild ride. And I'm happy to be here. I'm super happy that you're here with us. And yeah, so I think with that being said, we're going to call it a show there. Definitely check in with us tomorrow when we do the ENS Tuesday. It's going to be going over all that good stuff. And yeah, and a lot more coming down the pipeline as well. Whiskey Wednesday, probably a holiday special on Thursday, and a whole lot more. So until then, next time, I'm Gary Palmer Jr.eth, Gary Palmer Jr.eth. You can find me on Twitter at Gary Palmer Jr., or go check me out at my ENS name, which is Gary Palmer Jr.eth. And check us out at mintingcoins.com. Until next time, I'm glad that together we are minting coins.